Okay, so I just came back from my walk. I went to a bookstore to go buy a gift for my friend, and now I'm back at home. And I also went to the library to borrow 2 books. I already started reading the first one that I borrowed, but this one is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, comic version. Yeah, comic book version, and it's also in French. But I've already read the plot, so I already know what's gonna go on. I just wanted to see the art style. I thought it'd be really cool to see it that way. And then finally I'm starting to read R.F. Kuang, and I'm starting with Yellowface. I've heard so much about her on TikTok, and even on Book Talk I've heard about her. And like, I wanted to start with this book because I think this is the one that I heard of first from her. So I think I'm gonna start with Yellowface, and then I'm gonna go to the other books until I get to Catabasis? Is Catabasis the most recent one? I'm not sure. I'm not up to date with R.F. Kuang, but I wanna see if I like her writing style. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna see if I like the story. But yeah, I'm really excited. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Hi, okay, I'm back. It's been like maybe a day or two, and I started reading Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I just wanted to say that, like, I don't think I've ever, and like, maybe this is the little bit of spoiler, so I'll put a trigger warning, but I don't think I've ever disliked a character so early on in the book and continue, like, the main character of a book so early on in the book and continue to dislike them as I continue to read the book. You know, I don't think I've ever like disliked a main character and just like, I was like, at the beginning I was kind of like, let me hear this like main character out, maybe there's like growth. No, so far as I'm seeing, at the very least, it's like okay, I'll just get through the whole book. It's not that I don't like the book, I actually do like reading this, it's entertaining, but it's like, the main character, well, yeah, that's all I have to say. Also, I'm gonna start to read A Steeping of Blood. I read A Tempest of Tea, I think, around a year ago, and so I'm really happy I'm starting the second book. I'm gonna read some reviews and some, maybe like, not of this, but of A Tempest of Tea, and like refresh my brain on certain things that happened, because I read it a year ago. And then I'm still reading my Harry Potter book, and I'm also still reading Six of Crows. I hope that I'm able to finish all of these books by the end of the month, because I still have a bunch of other books that I have to pick up on, not for the end of the month, but for the summer. So yes, that's, yeah, I think that's all I have to, if I have anything else to say, I'll add it on later. But for the rest of the time being, I'll just be reading. guys. Okay, I'm back and I'm talking again. I just recently finished Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. And wait, let me get my notebook because I have a few things to say. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay. So a spoiler, but like more like, no, this is just my opinion, it's not a spoiler. I've never disliked a main character so much in my life. I won't say why unless you've like read it, then you know why, but I've never disliked a main character so much, you know, like usually the main character I can stand. Like reading The Secret History, I could stand Richard, like it was fine. Like he was not the most like accurate, trustworthy narrator, but I could stand him, you know, in the story. But in Yellowface, I could not stand June, who is the main character. But I will say this, reading this as a person who loves to read and is also really interested in the writing industry felt like a nightmare. Like, wait, okay. I felt like the main character was so entitled, but like I'll say this, I didn't really like any of the characters that much. Other than Brett. Like Brett I could stand. Right? And maybe it's because we don't know like so much about the other characters, but I didn't like June. And sorry for the birds, my window's open. But I also didn't like Atina. Like I know that June isn't the most trustworthy, reliable narrator because like I'll just say that, but like Atina, who's also one of the characters in the book, I didn't like her that much from what we saw of her. I didn't like her as a writer. Like seeing the process she went through to write, I didn't like. Is that a spoiler? I'll just put a spoiler trigger. But I didn't like that. But I don't like June either. And I didn't like Jeff. Is his name Jeff? Because I read Jeffrey. And so I'm just going by Jeff. So, like, that's Jeff, right? Yeah, I didn't really like Jeff either. I didn't like a lot of the characters in this book, which is so odd. Maybe it's because I'm used to reading high fantasy where the characters, they may not be like the most right, like, how do you say, like, because I read a lot of high fantasy, so I'm guessing they're not they're not perfect, but I don't dislike them to the degree that I've disliked characters in a book, and it's not because the writing is bad. Okay, R.F. Kuang actually writes pretty well. Like, she writes really well. Better than I do. Like, she writes definitely better than I do, and reading this was like rage bait. Like, I'll say that. Reading this book felt like rage bait. I rated it like 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. The reason why it's not 5 stars is because, again, reading it was like rage bait. It's not because the writing is bad. It's just because I really, like, I had to, like, there were so many times where I paused, closed the book, looked, like, if there was a third person, right, in my room, I would just look straight at them and be like, what the hell-y? Like, that, there were so, yeah, no, this book, it gave me secondhand embarrassment. It made me mad. There's, like, I get that there's a lot of, like, bad aspects to the writing industry and publishing, but reading about it and just, like, I feel like this is, like, comprised of just a lot of crap. about the publishing industry. Like, I feel like this is a book that's like, if you want to crap on the publishing industry, this is your way to do it. But it's, yeah, and both authors, both June and Atina, which are characters in the book, right? June is the main character, and then Atina is a character. I don't like either of them. And it's not like in a like, oh, like arrogant manner, more like in a like, what the hell? It's also, as a mixed girl, I'll say this much, because I don't, you know, like, I like talking about this in person rather than online, but I'm doing it now. And reading this as a mixed person had me have so many mixed feelings about Athena, and then, but made me hate June even more. Yeah, like, it made me dislike Athena, and like, at first I was like, oh, you know what, like, representation, but now I'm like, no. Yeah, like, reading through it slowly, progressively, I was like, representation? Okay, that's all I have to say on the book. I literally talked 6 minutes, and I haven't, okay. It's a good book. I suggest you read this book if you like are interested in the publishing industry, in the writing industry, if you can stand not liking characters in the book and still reading them, then you're fine. Like, if you can stand to read a book and you hate the characters and you're just like, these characters are low-key, it's not that the characters are written badly, it's just that the characters are so easy to not like. Like, they're so easy to hate on. So if you're, you know, if you're a complainer and you like to complain and bash books, not bash books, but bash people, this is the book for you, babes. Yeah, I rate this a 4.5 out of 5. It was a really good read. I enjoyed reading this. And I'm now continuing with Six of Crows, which is a reread, and The Steeping of Blood. I finished the 4th book of Harry Potter. That's like, let me see, I've read that since I was like 13. It was fun. But yeah, that's all I have to say. See you guys.
Mais au final, je pense que c'était important pour moi de presque faire le deuil de la possibilité d'une perte, parce qu'avec la vérité vient la possibilité que ce soit trop pour les gens, cette vérité-là. Mais j'ai été chanceuse qu'il y a
So I'm just gonna move. Period. Filming people without their consent is wrong. Period. He's looking at my fingers. He's going in. It's fine. I can't see their faces.
Okay, so I just finished rereading Six of Crows a few days ago, the first one of the duology, and since I hadn't read it in a while, it was kind of refreshing to reread it and like go through the story again. I've always loved it, and I think this time I rated it a 5. I don't know if last time I rated it a 5. Maybe I just really like Leigh Bardugo's books, but I'll have to see, because like the Six of Crows duology is all that I've read, and I think I need to read more of her before I fully decide if I like her writing style, or is it just like the duology itself that I like. But other than that, I think I've started reading more books. I've also bought more books. I bought more books at a thrift store. I'm gonna start reading. I bought a Little Women copy. I bought this book, If I Stay, and I'm gonna start to read it soon. I've heard that it is similar to Before I Fall, and I've read and watched before I fell, so I think I might like this. And then I got a copy of Divine Rivals, which I plan on reading maybe later, like later in the year. And yeah, that's all I've done lately. We'll see if I vlog a bit more or if I end it here, but we shall see. That is to be seen.